Charlie Kirk said black men like you were better off during slavery. Do you agree with him?
Now, listen, 100%.
The Piers Morgan panel just spiraled into chaos after he caught a left-wing guest telling a pretty gross lie about Charlie Kirk. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your home for independent, nonpartisan analysis and commentary on news, media, internet culture, and more. And we're going to check in with Piers Morgan Uncensored, one of the most raucous and I think interesting shows in all of media. It's like a TV-style debate panel show, though it's YouTube and podcast focused, not actually a TV show these days, because they just had a very interesting debate. I'm probably going to cover two different parts of it and some moments that are going viral, including when one of the left-wing panelists, Wajahat Ali, who is a writer and commentator, told a pretty insane lie about Charlie Kirk that then Brandon Tatum, who is a right-wing conservative YouTuber and a Turning Point, I think he's affiliated with Turning Point USA, or at least was, and he was friends with Charlie, had an odd response at first, but then kind of argued with Wajahat about it, and then Piers had to come in and throw the fact-check hammer down. And it's really a remarkable saga to watch. We're going to watch first the clip where this debate breaks out and Wajahat drops the truly insane claim about Charlie Kirk. Let's watch.
Lie about them. The lies is what caused a person like Tyler Robinson to kill Charlie. Lies. He was not racist. He was not hateful. He did not spew hate. He was a man of courage. He had integrity, and he was fair. If you disagree with him, he let you come to the front of the line and you can have your disagreement.
Brandon, Charlie Kirk said black men like you were better off during slavery.
What?
Do you agree with him?
Now, listen, 100%.
Whoa.
You believe 100%?
Now what? Wait,
you were
after
better off
slavery.
Yeah, so I'll pause here. I think that Brandon must have misheard or misunderstood what Wajahat was saying, because surely Brandon would not, and this became clear, he did in fact mishear or misunderstand him, because neither Charlie nor Brandon would ever suggest that whatever you think of their opinions on racial issues, and I don't agree with all of them, sure, but they would never suggest black people were better off during slavery. So I immediately, and because I was somebody who followed Charlie Kirk quite closely, sometimes I was quite critical of him before he passed away and was killed in such a horrific murder. And there were times where he said stuff that I really pushed back on. And if he had ever said that kind of extreme, insane statement, like black people were better off during slavery, I feel like I would have heard about it. I would have probably done a video reacting to it and criticizing it. So immediately the alarm bells went off in my head that can't be accurate. That can't be right. Can it? Narrator, it was not right. As you will see, that is not, in fact, something that Charlie Kirk ever said. And what a despicable lie to tell about a dead person, right? To accuse them of, because somebody who actually said black people were better off during slavery when they were brutally enslaved and subjected to violence and deprived of basic human rights and just harmed and sexually violated as well, and in so many terrible ways, that would be a truly insane thing to say. Such a person would have to be either just totally delusional or deeply, deeply racist. And so you're making a very grave allegation against somebody who was horrifically killed with apparently not doing any research or having any receipts to back it up, because it's totally fake. Anyway, let's keep going here. And thankfully, Piers did come in with the fact-checking hammer, but first, this kind of strange exchange played out. Let's watch.
Let me explain, because maybe you don't know black history. No. You don't understand black history, and you don't understand what Charlie was saying. Listen, after slavery, there was an explosion of success in the black community. We had Black Wall Street. We were married to the women we had children with. Black people had a tremendous amount of success. Our success was growing faster than white people during that period of time. Now look at us. Now go look at any inner city in this country, and you see people getting murdered every weekend.
Brandon, Charlie Kirk, your friend, said you, as a black man, were better off during slavery.
Again, he reiterates this claim that is not true. Now, Brandon started talking about something else, which is, and this idea will become more relevant as we go along, something that Thomas Sowell, the famous black economist, wrote about, which is that certain problems within the black community, right, such as broken families or crime rates, if you actually go back in time, and you will find better statistics on certain metrics, like these were less of an issue prior to racial integration and kind of the whole civil rights movement and everything. Now, that doesn't mean that those things were wrong just because there was, a higher percentage of fathers in the houses in the 40s and 30s than there is today. Doesn't mean we should have kept the separate water fountains. But it's an interesting rejoinder to the idea that all the problems in the Black community today are primarily caused by systemic racism, because presumably systemic racism was much worse in the early 20th century. No, objectively it was, than it is today. So it's an opinion or perspective that is heavily disputed or challenged, sure, but it's not like a racist take, and it has nothing to do, it's not about slavery, first of all. And so to suggest that even going there makes someone racist or whatever is wrong. And then again, he's not even saying that. He has this mixed up because he keeps saying Charlie Kirk said that slavery was better for Black people. That he never said that. But he doubles down on this. Like, this dude, Wajahat, really, really went hard on this idea that he clearly had not researched. I can't imagine that. As somebody who does panels and somebody who does debates and does television, sometimes you will prepare certain critiques or lines of attack or arguments ahead of time. If you're going to launch a very serious accusation against somebody, what you'll typically have is the receipts right there, fresh off mind, or even in notes that you can then go to if someone disputes or challenges it. Clearly, this dude was just shooting from the hip. And that's kind of crazy to make wild accusations like this about a dead guy who was brutally murdered. That's my feeling on that. I don't know. We'll keep going here.
Do you agree with that statement?
100%. I understand what he was saying. I just articulated
Do you agree with it?
The perspective that he had. Just because you don't understand history and you look at everything in the lens as Black people are the ultimate.
So the only thing I would say about Brandon is he shouldn't be saying, yes, I agree with the statement, because what he means is I agree with what Charlie Kirk actually said, not what you're lying about him saying. But it sounds like you're saying you agree with the crazy statement, which I don't think you do. And what you should really be saying is, no, you're lying about what Charlie said. I agree with his actual point, which was this. So this got a little murky from Brandon as well. But to be fair, it's kind of a curveball thrown at you.
Victims in perpetuity don't mean that Charlie Kirk can have an expression of something I agree with him on. Now, you're here sitting here trying to tell a Black man that I can't agree with Charlie Kirk on the fact that I think that Black people were in a better trajectory when we were in the 30s
during
after slavery.
He said during slavery.
You're lying.
There you go.
He said you were better off during slavery.
Now he's figuring it out, Brandon.
No, he did not. Show me the proof, and I'll give you $1,000.
All right, let's go.
You don't have it. Ain't no way in the world Charlie said we're better in slavery. He said after slavery. It's a whole sentiment around it. And Black people understand this. History reflects this. Thomas Sowell expressed this. Black people were in a trajectory on a path doing better than white people. Anybody can fact check that. We had millionaires. We had people who were very successful. Black Wall Street, you name it. We had a lot of production. We were teaching our own schools. We had our own transportation. We owned our own companies, entertainment, you name it, we had it.
So there's that first clip where they argue back and forth about this. Wajahat doubles down on this claim that is just not based in reality. It's just not based in truth at all. And then he goes looking to try to find some receipts or proof on it. But in the meantime, Piers beats him to it. And then Piers comes in with a pretty brutal fact check. But what I'll say is that, like, you shouldn't be throwing out allegations. Like, I understand that sometimes topics come up that are unpredictable in a panel or debate, and then you might recall something and say it and then not have everything handy. But he knew they were going to talk about Charlie Kirk, so he presumably planned ahead of time to drop this little accusation. Then you shouldn't have to go digging for the receipts. You should have them handy, Wajahat. Otherwise, you're being pretty reckless, and you may just be recalling something that's not actually true, as was the case here. And Piers kind of brutally humiliated this guy for telling this total lie, which again, about somebody who was killed, makes it worse. He's not really here to defend himself. Anyway, let's watch that brutal fact check.
In the meantime, I'm going to come to Jack for a response, but we've checked this. Charlie Kirk did not say that black people were better off in slavery. There was a manipulated video clip circulating on social media that created that false impression. This originated from a September 2024 debate hosted by Jubilee Media. During the debate, he discussed historical periods of subjugation, specifically pointing to black communities under Jim Crow laws in the 1940s. What he actually argued, he said that during the 1940s, black communities had lower crime rates and greater family stability than they do today. He used this rhetorically to argue against the idea that systemic oppression or poverty are the only drivers of crime. He asserted that if oppression directly caused high crime, crime rates would have been sky high during eras of severe oppression, which he claimed historical data did not show.
Yeah, so that's what I said earlier, basically. So what Charlie Kirk actually said in that Jubilee debate, and you don't have to agree with it, it's a debatable historical or political analytical take, sure, but what he was saying is that crime rates, for example, were lower during this much, much more racist and repressive period. So then you can't explain higher crime rates in the modern era entirely because of racism. He wasn't saying that, therefore, all that Jim Crow segregation was good or that people were, even the phrase better off, he was specifically, I believe, referring to on these certain metrics, not necessarily overall better off. That would be a strange claim to actually make, that they were overall better off, but certain statistics were better then than they are now. And pointing that out is not, beyond the pale. It's certainly a legitimate subject of scholarship and debate. And like has been mentioned, folks like Thomas Sowell have been talking about this for a long time. And it doesn't make Charlie Kirk a terrible, evil person for having once argued that. Nor, even, it sounds like this dude, Wajahat, literally fell for like a fake video that took that clip out of context and labeled it as about slavery when it wasn't. And it's like, aren't you supposed to be a journalist? Shouldn't you be making sure that you're not like repeating Blue Anon slop that's like incorrect and being shared by like wine moms? Oh my gosh. And let's see how he responds, right? Anyway, we'll watch.
Did not show. So, he's not saying that black people were better off in slavery, clearly.
But during segregation.
Well, no, he's not. He's talking about periods in the 1940s, which is not what you're talking about.
So during segregation. And he was also against the civil rights movement.
You said slavery.
Oh my God. So here's the thing. He's trying to pivot. Oh, see, but it was segregation. Dude, that's totally different than what you said. It's a whole nother conversation and debate. What you said was egregiously factually wrong. Just apologize for it, which he eventually does. But instead, he really tries to pivot. And it's like, why are you going out of your way to dance on this dude's grave so much? You could just, I don't know, talk about the modern political debate or offer your own opinions rather than try to relitigate Charlie Kirk's character by lying about him. It just feels gross to me. I just don't see the need for it, really. And anyway, Piers did press him on this with shout out to you, Piers.
So I will.
Why are you changing the goalposts?
Wait. I'll do
Take
something
the loss.
alongside.
Take the loss for Giant. You've literally spewed a conspiracy theory that came from a manipulated video which perpetrated a false impression of what Charlie Kirk actually said.
I'll do it in real time. Something that Jack and Brandon could do. Thank you for fact checking. I saw that video. You fact checked it. I stand corrected.
Okay,
but
good.
The fact shows
do you apologize?
Yeah, right? But the fact shows
do you apologize?
That he said black people are better off during segregation, and he was against the civil rights movement.
Do you apologize?
Absolutely. You fact checked it. Thank you so much.
I guess better late than never in terms of admitting your mistake, but yikes. Imagine going on TV, making a wild accusation against the victim of a political terror attack, a murder, right? So a horrific crime. And you're trying to smear his legacy without even doing any due diligence or research. You just saw some manipulated video clip circulating online. You're going to repeat it because you're a super duper serious journalist and analyst. Like, that is really, really embarrassing and disgraceful stuff. And then you can pivot to, well, he said about segregation. Even then, you're still mischaracterizing him and not engaging honestly with his argument, which, again, you don't have to agree with, but is not like inherently racist or beyond the pale to talk about the different statistics in much more oppressive periods compared to today, and how that affects narratives around systemic racism and inequality and all of this stuff. And I say this all as somebody who was critical of plenty of things that Charlie Kirk said, but I just cannot imagine lying about him like this after he's the victim. And his murder has become this. The reason this even came up is because they were talking about the conspiracy theories and lies being perpetrated about his killing. And one of the panelists, who's ostensibly against those conspiracies, then decides to also shit on Charlie Kirk with a lie and a conspiracy from a manipulated video he saw on the internet. You can't make this up, but it is abjectly insane and really disgraceful. And kudos to Piers and the panel for calling this out and not letting him get away with it. But boy, people should really do a little more due diligence before popping off on the biggest platforms in all of media. That's my insane hot take of the day, I guess. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button while you're at it. Do consider becoming a channel member here on YouTube to support me in my work. I try to be independent, call out the far left and the far right. And it's not the best business model. If you just pander to one extreme, you can get millions of subscribers and make millions of dollars. But I genuinely try to be independent and honest and fair. So I do need support from viewers like you. Hit the join button or click the link in the pinned comment. To become a channel member, you will not only support my work, but I also do videos where I react to member comments and questions. So if you have some feedback or roasts or questions you want to ask me, just become a channel member and drop it in the comments. And with that, guys, we will leave it there for this one and be back with more real soon.